Hello guys, this is the review to Warhammer Age of Sigmar, Path to Glory. We're going to jump straight into it with how to create your warband for this. So if you've watched my previous video, which I've just posted up, it will tell you the warband that I will be taking over or trying to take over from Skirmish. However, we'll just have a quick look at how you do it. So this is a game in a nutshell. Right, so to create your warband, what you have to do is you have to choose a champion, right? And then once you've picked a champion, you follow the steps for use a thing called glory points, right? So I'll show you how glory points work. So we'll use the dispossessed or dwarves as they should be called, because that's what I'm bringing over. So I'm going to focus completely on dwarves. Now, things like Seraphon and all the rest get whole sections to themselves. All the developed armies, Fire Slayers get whole sections to themselves. The ones which as loyal, long-time gamers have been following all get clumped into one little thing, as you would expect. But we won't go on about that. So I'll be bringing dwarves, let's say, across from Skirmish. And for this situation here, you can only bring a Rune Lord or a Warden King. Now, I'm just going to swap that because I'm only playing it at home and I can't imagine Path to Glory will get much competition-wise, at the Games Workshop main places. So I'm transferring Rune Lord for Cogsmith. And you can see here that Cogsmith is an option for later down the line, so I'll just flip it again and I'll make that. You've got Rune Lord as a choice there as well. So I'll be taking a Cogsmith as my general. So Rune Lord or Warden King they can have 4 lots of followers, which is basically your glory. So in the previous video with the Skirmish, I'd built up some miners, some thunderers, a small amount of warriors, and a few other bits and bobs. I'm going to basically, same thing again, it's all your game, guys. You can do what you want at the end of the day. And warriors and quarrelers and thunderers, miners, exact same price. So I'm just going to replace warriors for miners there. And I'm going to bring across 10 of my miners, sorry. So that's one lot. If you look on these 2 tables here, this just doesn't give you anything. This costs you 1 glory. So there's your points there. So your Rune Lord is allowed to basically spend 4 glory points. So one lot of these will cost you 1 glory. So minus for me is 1 glory, and for another 1 lot of glory, I'm going to bring across my 10 Thunderers, right? And then I'll also bring across my 10 Warriors. So that's 30 Dwarves coming across from my Skirmish army. If you wanted more elite units, it will cost you like 2 glory points, right? And where it says rolls here, what this means is if you want it, when you're winning battles and things like that, you get roll-offs and things like that. So, but cover that in a short while. But basically, these cost you 2 glory each. And if you look on this page here, so I've spent 3 glory at the minute of them points there. So I've got 1 left to spare. So I could basically, if I wanted, I could take an organ gun, or I could bring my gyrocopter across, or I could bring my Rune Lord across. So what I'll probably do is I'll bring my Rune Lord across. So that's a big chunk of my Skirmish army brought across. Now, in Skirmish, you're getting magic items and things like that as well. Unfortunately, I can't bring them across. But that's a big chunk of the army that I've built up, painted up, because, this is one of the great things of Skirmish. You building up step by step, and you continue in the cycle into Path to Glory. So, in Path to Glory, you're allowed to take things like cannons and organ guns and things like that, which you're not allowed to take in Skirmish. So these are bringing along more options of how to build up your army. So another thing you can do with your points that you win is you can get champions rewards. So again, you don't get your own page like with the more focused armies, but things like this, basically champion rewards will give you extraordinary endurance, add one to your champion's wounds characteristic, mastercrafted armour, you can reroll failed save rolls for your champion. So you're getting those little like magic item type things or abilities, etc. So let's change yours. Hasn't actually got one for the followers. No, I guess it doesn't do it for followers. But if you use Iron Jaws, for example, your champion has their own table there, and followers have their own table as well. As I say, the older armies just seem to have got dumped on, to be honest. But basically, I just wanted to flip to the army to show you how to build up your army or bring your army across from skirmish. And this will go back to so this is basically telling you how you do it at the start, how you build up your army. You pick your champion, you use them points to get your other troops, and then this will basically tell you how you gain glory and rewards to battle and things like that. Right, so gaining glory, you get 1 glory point if you win or draw a battle, or you get 1d3 glory points if you win a battle. And then basically you can choose on this list. You can roll or you can choose. Personally, I would just choose. So you can pick either additional followers. You can pick a champion's reward or followers reward. Well, there is no followers reward for dwarves, but say using the Iron Jaws as an example, that'll cost you a point. So let's say you roll a d3 and you get 3 points. That would basically mean you could take maybe a champion's reward for 1 point, 1 glory point, and maybe get an elite unit of 10 hammerers for 2 glory points, etc, etc. So that's how you sort of spend your point, rather than building points up in a campaign the traditional way. This is how you do it using glory points in this system. And then there's basically 2 ways to win Path to Glory, by blood or by might. To win by blood, your warband must first have 10 glory points. So basically what this means is you have to save your glory points, not spend them on units basically. The other option is to win by might. Your warband must have at least 5 additional units of followers. So that seems like the better option for me, because rather than having to save your glory points, you can actually spend your glory points on units which are going to help you in your battle to come, and it just seems the obvious choice. So if you get 5 additional units of followers, you've won. In either case, you must then fight and win 1 more battle to win the campaign. If the next battle you fight is tied or lost, you do not receive any glory points. Just keep on fighting battles until you either win the campaign or another player wins first. So basically similar type of missions to the normal General's Handbook and things like that, but just a different alternative onto a different way of building up armies. Transfer them across from Path to Glory, from Skirmish, sorry, and it's a fun way again to transition from Skirmish or just straight from Path to Glory, getting a starter box set, and then building up to eventually a 1500 or a 2000 point army. And as I did in the previous video for Skirmish, I'll just show you an example of a decent warband you would take over using your glory points to your normal Age of Sigmar army ready to fight, a full 1500 point or 2000 point battle. So before I do that, I'm just going to show you the missions are pretty much like the normal General's Handbook missions, but I wanted to show you this one as an example because this is excellent. Because what I want to do personally, I'm doing a lot of Space Marines at the minute, and you know, trying to tear through them. But I'm gonna give them a break soon and get on with my son's Dwarves. But what I'd like to do is, because I'm doing Skirmish to start with and building up a small warband, I'm going to try and do 4 warbands at the same time. Sylvaneth, Seraphon, Dwarves, and then the next one, I'm not sure. It'll either be Slaves to Darkness or Orcs or Goblins, something like that. And just build them up, doing the 4 armies, do 1 unit, move on to a different army, do that unit, and build up the skirmish like that. And this is a great one here. Basically what I'll do is I'll play 2 armies, and my son can play his Dwarf army. My wife can play Sylvanas, sorry, and I'll play the Seraphon and whatever the other army is. And this is a great, really fun battle scene here. So what you do is, in this you have your 4 different armies set up each quarter of the battle board, and each corner, sorry, and then you have this thing, battle rounds, right? So each battle round is split into 4 turns, 1 for each player. At the start of each battle round, the players roll off by each rolling 2d6, rolling again in the case of a tie for the highest score. The player that rolls highest wins the roll-off and decides who will take the first turn in the battle round. I mean, that's just so much fun. That would be absolutely brilliant. It sort of reminds me of Risk, to be honest. That sort of, you could maybe choose someone who you're a bit worried about, and maybe the other side of the table, get them to have to go first, expose themselves, and then basically after they've had their go, the next, you all roll again, minus the one who's had his go. At the highest roll, picks who goes next, etc., etc. And yeah, the victory condition for that is whoever suffered the least casualties. So if you can sort of hang back, if you win the rolls and hang back and watch some of your armies, some of the other armies batter each other, like I say, it reminds me of Risk. I mean, that's what I used to do all the time in Risk. I just keep quiet in the background, building up. And it just seemed a really fun one, this. So I just wanted to show a bit of emphasis on this actual mission. But yeah, overall, I've been reading the campaign. Same with Skirmish, and it's got a really, really good storyline. It follows an orc called Gulgaz, who's basically fighting his way out of these mountains. If I can find it, yeah, the Rise of Gulgaz. There, he basically kills this shaman who's keeping his clan in these mountains, the Caustic Peaks they're called, and he fights his way out, and he fights Stormcast and Fireslayers and all sorts. And the good thing about this is Firestorm, that I'll be getting in a couple of weeks, so I'll show you that as well, guys, in a couple of weeks. It carries on from Gulgaz, so you could, if you had the Iron Jaws and an orc thing, you could even run it fighting Gulgaz and things like that. And it's really well written, really good fun read. Because with me being a role player as well, I love narrative type of stuff, and it's got loads of stuff in there. It's got the region there, which I think is in Firestorm as well, on the main map. And it just adds a bit of depth to the game, rather than just putting armies down on the board and just battling each other and then packing them up. It gives you another reason for why you're actually doing it, and adds that little element of narrative storyline to it. But like I say, same as Skirmish, guys, really, really good. I can't fault it. Sometimes I have a bit of a grievance with GW, because I do think they do dump on the older armies quite a lot, but as far as the writing and things to do with Age of Sigmar, I love it, guys. I think they've done really, really well. Plenty of missions in there, and then loads and loads of stuff. Loads of champion rewards for Khorne. It's got the only armies it hasn't got, I think, is it the Tomb Kings, is the like Egyptian type skeletons. I think they're pretty much gone, guys. And same with Bretonnians, pretty much gone as well. I wouldn't even like to think how you could convert this over for Bretonnians. I can do it in Skirmish, and I've said how you can do it in Skirmish. in a previous video, but I wouldn't like to say for this, to be honest. I think this is one they might just have to give a miss. But yeah, overall guys, really good book. You know, I'm looking forward to playing it once I've transitioned from Skirmish. So really good book, guys. So I hope that's helpful to some of you who are thinking of getting it. I would definitely recommend it, guys. So guys, that's the type of sized army that you could be expecting after your you know, your campaign through Path of Glory. That type of army, you know, maybe 2 lots of 20 warriors, a set of thunderers, set of miners. You've got a cannon at the back. You've got your gyrocopter. As I say, this guy was meant to be representing a rune lord. So you probably have your cogsmith at the front, rune lord, and then unforged, or that's just a slayer lord basically. And yeah, like I said, just a fun way to get your army built up, and then you're basically walking onto normal Age of Sigmar with a painted up army rather than turning up with a lot of plastics and stuff. You've done it over a transition period, but you've been able to play while you've been painting that army up by doing Skirmish, then Path to Glory, and then onto Sigmar, the normal Sigmar. Rules are all the same, you know, just the rules are no different. It's just the games are shorter and the battles are based, you know, they're composed of smaller elements, so they're just quicker battles. So that's it, guys. I hope this has been helpful, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye, guys.